Welcome, curious minds, to this explainer. Today, we're jumping straight into a massive puzzle that's been keeping automotive engineers awake at night. The industry is obviously going electric, but how do we keep the pure, unfiltered thrill of driving alive? Well, we're going to see if the brand new Alpine A290 has actually cracked the code.
So, let's just put the big question out there. Can an EV actually be a true hot hatch? Can a car powered by batteries really make you smile, give you that raw, tactile feedback, and deliver the exact same joy as those legendary, noisy petrol sports cars we all grew up loving? It's a huge hurdle.
Because honestly, we're looking at a massive paradox here. On one side, you have the classic internal combustion hot hatch. You know the formula. It's got to be lightweight, super mechanical, and wonderfully noisy. But then, look at the standard EV blueprint. Heavy battery packs, digital interfaces, and dead silent. It's literally the exact opposite of what a hot hatch is supposed to be.
Right. Section 1. Meet the Alpine A290. Alpine's answer to this whole paradox is what they're calling an electric urban sports car. It uses the much-praised Renault 5 platform as a base, but Alpine really pushed that foundation to its absolute limits to build something totally distinct.
Visually, this thing just sets itself apart right away. It's got this mean, super wide stance with gloss black side skirts. The front lights are incredibly cool. They've got this rally-inspired X-tape design. Throw in bespoke 19-inch black snowflake alloys, and zero fake exhaust pipes. They kept it authentic to what it is while still looking incredibly aggressive.
Now, we all know weight is public enemy #1 for an electric hot hatch, but Alpine actually tackled this head-on. Thanks to an all-aluminum design, which kind of echoes their iconic A110, this car comes in at just 1,479 kilograms. For a battery-powered car, that is impressively light.
And they paired that lightweight frame with some serious punch. If you grab the GT Performance or GTS trim, you're getting 220 horsepower. That translates to a 0 to 60 time of just 6.4 seconds. So yeah, it definitely pulls hard off the line, matching a lot of those traditional gas-powered B-segment hatches that are, sadly, fading out of the market.
Moving on to Section 2, engineered for driving pleasure. Look, going fast in a straight line is the easy part for an EV, right? But creating visceral, edge-of-your-seat driving engagement, that takes serious engineering.
To give you that mechanical feel of a petrol car, Alpine loaded this thing up. Right on the steering wheel, you've got a red overtake button for a quick 10-second power boost. There's also an Alpine Telemetrics app baked right into the dash that coaches your driving with live G-force data. Plus, you get a physical knob to dial in 4 levels of regenerative braking and, get this, an immersive synthetic engine sound that actually reacts to your throttle. They clearly want you actively engaged.
But it's definitely not just the software trick. Under the skin, the A290 rocks a multi-link rear suspension. For a small car in this category, a multi-link setup is incredibly rare. They paired that with rally-style hydraulic bump stops and custom anti-roll bars. The result? A super agile, almost kart-like feel in the corners. It's built to give you that classic lift-off oversteer mobility on a twisty back road.
Add in some seriously track-ready components to that foundation. We're talking Brembo 4-piston brakes that were literally validated out in the freezing conditions of the Arctic Circle to make sure they stop consistently. They also teamed up with Michelin for 3 bespoke tire options designed specifically for this chassis. Basically, this machine is built to grip.
Okay, Section 3, daily usability and practicality. At the end of the day, a hot hatch still has to be your daily driver. Let's see how practical the A290 actually is.
Starting at the back, the boot gives you a really impressive 300 liters of space that's super competitive for its class. And the kicker? You still get that full volume even if you opt for the premium DVLA subwoofer under the floor, so you can grab all your groceries and not sacrifice any of the bass.
But, there are always compromises. The front cabin is gorgeous. Nappa leather, really great sporty bolstered seats, but 0 front cup holders. I guess Alpine's engineers think you should be steering, not sipping a latte. Also, a quick warning. If you plan on hauling adults in the back, the rear legroom is exceptionally tight. This is very much a driver-first kind of car.
As for the daily driving range, the 52 kilowatt-hour battery claims up to 236 miles on the WLTP cycle when you put it in save mode. Plenty for commuting in city life. Though, keep in mind, testers have noted that if you're really pushing it or doing long highway stints, you're probably looking at a real-world figure closer to 180 miles.
Section 4, the economics of electric. Now, the upfront price of an electric hot hatch can sting a bit,
but making the switch to the A290 brings some pretty undeniable financial perks over time.
Just look at the running costs. The contrast is wild. If you're driving 10,000 kilometers a year and charging at home, the A290 will cost you roughly €412 annually to power. Compare that to a petrol equivalent, which sits at almost €1,400. You're saving nearly €1,000 a year just on fuel alone. That is massive.
And as savings don't stop there. Routine maintenance costs actually drop by an estimated 40 to 50%. Why? Well, there's no engine oil, no timing belts, and no spark plugs to swap out. Plus, your brake pads last way longer because the regenerative braking handles so much of the stopping power for you.
Section 5. A true driver's EV. So, bringing this all together, based on the specs, the hardware, and the hands-on reviews, did Alpine actually solve the hot hatch puzzle?
The consensus seems to be a resounding yes. Look, basic physics means a modern EV with a battery pack won't ever feel exactly like a featherweight vintage Peugeot 205 GTI. But automotive reviewers are agreeing that the core spirit, that playful character, and just the pure fun of a classic hot hatch are absolutely there. It genuinely feels alive.
And that wraps up our deep dive. To all the curious minds tuning in, thank you so much for joining us on this explainer today. We hope this helped break down exactly how Alpine engineered this awesome little car. But before we go, we've got to ask you one final provocative question. Knowing the tech, the running costs, and the performance, would you finally trade your petrol engine for this electric thrill? Think about it, and we'll catch you next time.